All right, guys. So, welcome to Yo Chico podcast. This is something that we came up so we can answer questions from modeling, lifestyle, skincare, hair, all the stuff that you guys keep asking me. So, right now, that's what we're doing. The first guest of our podcast, as you guys may know already, it will be Mr. Shano Pry, the man,
Yes,
the
the
top
man.
model, the biggest mugger of them all, that mugs me and everybody else, Jordan and Mitchell too. Yeah, so
Colossally mugged.
he's gonna be the first guest, and I'm excited because it's a big one, right? Like it's what everybody wants. It's the guy that everybody want to hear from. He's a very private guy. He's not much on social media. He's not much, in those things. He doesn't really know. I'm a guy that's kind of like doesn't know much about it, and you guys know that. But it's worse than me though. He really doesn't know much about it. So, but I'm glad that he say yes. Like we're good friends. Um, we never really talked a lot, about life or things like that. I guess no model really talked a lot about like modeling. So like I never had a like I don't know any model friend of mine that would just like get into modeling conversations. We just have random conversations about things that we like. So yeah, it's gonna be a first one. It's gonna be nice to talk with him about modeling, about his life, about how he started his career. How was like doing a video clip with somebody like Taylor Swift. I guess something that you guys want to know. And pretty much this, we're gonna have a nice conversation. So that's gonna be the first episode. But right now we're in the pilot. Right now, that's when we begin our journey. Me, Mr. Mitchell, is the guy that is producing all this, is the guy behind the scenes. Right now, he's not behind the scene. He's always like showing his face because he's a pretty guy. And you guys can thank him. You guys can send him letters and thank you notes and little hearts because he's the reason why
No,
we're
no
doing all
Mitch,
this in
no
the first place.
podcast. No Mitch, no podcast. But let's get to know you. The pilot episode of the Yoshiko show. So let's get to know you.
All
I
right,
want to
so yeah,
know.
so like I said, the reason why we're doing this is because we're trying to get to know people, right? And we're trying to bring as much perspective inside of the modeling industry as possible, not only from models, but from casting directors, from photographers, from makeup artists, from hairstylists, from everybody that works in this industry. We're trying to get their perspective so you guys can like see what really is this industry, right? What really is the modeling industry, or the whole fashion industry. Let's start by me. How I started, how I got to where I am right now, and doing this, right? So, for you that don't know, I'm from Brazil. My last name is Polish, so that's why it's Lachowski. But I'm born in Brazil, raised there, and when I was 17 years old, let's go by the part that matters, right? When I was 17 years old, in Brazil, you study to get into the university, and I was in this year that I had to choose something to do in my life, right? I had to like be like, okay, what I want to be. I want to be an engineer. I want to be a dentist. I want to be a doctor. I was kind of like, I don't know what I'm going to be, 17, kind of like young and dumb, right? Like. And I always been a sports guy. I played tennis my entire life, surf, skateboard, many different types of sport, and but I always wanted to be a sports guy. But and I was kind of like I was actually like working out a lot because I was very skinny. And then I got into like working out, and then I kind of like left sports behind because I was working out. So I kind of like was a little lost at 17, right? And then I actually studied to do industrial design, something that because I really like drawing, and I figured like, oh, I can draw like products, right? I can like draw like cars or like phones or things like that. I can do that. And then I thought about doing this with my life until
Until.
my cousin, Mr. Natalia Canali, the one that was finishing her studies in fashion design. She came to me, and like she actually like came to my house, and then she came to me straight up and say, "Hey dude, not like this." But like she's like, "Hey, uh we're doing a fashion show for the like graduation, right? So we like all the students, like they do their pieces and like the clothes and everything, and we need models because it's going to be a small little fashion show." And I was kind of like, yeah, but I'm not a model, like why would I do this? And she was like, you get $100, 100 rias. It was like, you get a 100 rias, like 100 rias gift card. I was like, oh damn, there's money in this, okay, I'll go. And I was like, okay, like cool, like I didn't have much, I didn't expect anything up from it. I just kind of, and um I wasn't really nervous, to be honest, because I was kind of like, I'm kind of doing a favor, I'm not really doing a job. And I'm not really sure what to expect. I guess I'm just gonna, put some clothes, get in there, walk back and forth, and leave. I had a little notion from it, but yeah, that was it. Me, 17 years old in Brazil, getting called by my cousin Natalia to do the fashion week from her graduation. So there I go. I go there. There's a bunch of models, and there's some agents from Ford Models in my city, Curitiba. And I do the show. Everything's fine. I actually attract a lot of attention, and that was the first time ever that I felt that, because before that I never I always being a guy that dressed like the more relaxed, the more kind of trashy as possible, never trying to bring attention to me. So I always kind of being like, like I'm not pretty though. I'm just like I just look like a normal guy, like growing up, just passing puberty, um, and putting some muscles because I was very skinny. So I wasn't really uh, I never noticed that I like the attention, But that day after doing this fashion show, I was like, oh shit, like people are like looking at me differently, and I start noticing that, so I start acting different. And then and by the end of the show, the agents from Ford Models in Curitiba, they came to me and they say, "Hey, are you with an agency, like, or are you just doing this?" No, I told them, no, I'm not in an agency. And they say, "Oh, do you want to be a model?" It's like, yeah, why not? It's like doesn't gonna make me money. It's like, great, let's go. And then next day, I went to the agency to sign up. That's like a little warning sign right now, guys, because that's what I'm gonna say. It's something very important because there's a lot of people go through exactly what I went through. And in my case, uh, I fell for it, but it worked out. So what had happened? I went to the agency, even being Ford Models. Ford Models, as you guys know, is a big name, right? It's a major agency in many places in the world. I don't think Ford Models Curitiba exists anymore. I'm not sure. I would have to double check that, but I don't know. It's like, anyways, I went there and they say like, okay, like, so you need a book, and you need like, photos, you need a book, and you need to learn, you need to do classes. I don't remember if they say need, but they offer me, and it kind of felt like the only way that I would sign up at the agency and start being a model, I would have to pay, like at the time was like 1,000 reais. That's a lot of money, like to do the classes in the book. Uh, and I was like, oh, like really? Like I really have to do that? And then I went to my mom and I say like, like I guess it's an investment. I guess I will pay you back. But listen, this, if agencies are very interested on you, going to like getting out of the store, if agencies are very interested on you, they are not supposed to ask you any money. Like they're not
Hmm.
supposed to like be like, oh, you have to do a book. I mean, you have to pay to do a book because you're hiring a photographer and an editor and like all the stuff. Like you have to pay for it regardless, right? But like they shouldn't like make like, oh, you have to do with us, so you pay us and then you can get in. Like you could go. pretty like you pretty much you could go to a different photography if you have a friend or anybody that's good in professional photography. You could go with this person and pay very little money and then present them with the pictures. Like they should be able to sign you up to sign up in an agency. It's free. It's always been free. It's always going to be free. Whatever they tell you, they trying to get their money. So that's what happened with me. I paid. I did the classes. I don't remember shit. Well, like what I did in classes, like there was a bunch of like like stuffing sausage. You know what I'm saying? Like it was nah. It was not. Uh, it was not a good thing to do. It was kind of weird. But anyways, I did that. And then I did the book. The pictures were terrible, terrible. I probably somebody on the internet already found those pictures, but like at the time I had like orange hair because I went to the beach and then I like bleached my hair.
Oh, you put the
Uh,
lemon in your hair?
no, I put like bleach straight up.
Oh, you straight up put bleach in your
Yeah,
hair.
yeah, I bleached my hair, and then it was kind of orange. And they're like, those pictures, my hair is still orange. And anyways, I never used those pictures in my life. So anyways, that got me into the agency, right? But just just for you guys know, it's warning because it's not supposed to be like this. If the agency wants you, they want you, you get in free. You do some pictures, you do some test shoots, and that's how it's going to be your book, right? It's the only thing that you should really pay for it is a test shoot. It's like good photographer that takes very good pictures so the agency can build your book. That's the only thing that you should actually pay for. Other than that, it is what it is. There's some small agencies in many places in the world. That's the way they do their business. They take money from people, but it's a warning. But not saying anything because Ford in general, it's a gigantic company, many different agents in the world. Like I said, I think Ford Curitiba right now, I don't think they exist anymore. But anyways, all of them do it. All the big name agencies do it. Maybe like in New York City, in the big markets, they don't do it because they don't have time for this stuff. They actually dealing with big money. But like small town agencies, they would probably still do it. In my city in Florianopolis, they were trying to do with the person that works in my house. We have like a person that works in our house, and they were trying to do with her, mega in Florianopolis. So it's definitely a way for them to still make money. But anyways, going back to my story. So I signed up finally after doing those classes and the book. I signed up, and they came to me and they say, "Hey, there's this contest called Supermodels Brazil. Would you like to sign up for it?" And I was like, "Do I have to pay for it?" Also, because I was kind of like, "I'm not paying for anything anymore. Stop with this stuff."
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, you don't have to pay for it. It's free." I was like, "Okay, if it's free, so sign me up. Why even ask? You shouldn't even should just sign me up. What? What's up?" And then he signed me up, and then great, and then there's the first like selective whatever. Like I go there. There's those bookers from actually four models in São Paulo that came to Curitiba, and they saw me and a bunch of other guys, and they're like, "Okay, you look good, you look good, you look good." And I end up winning the state part of it. So I go to the national final. So not final, but it's the national with like other like 2,000 people that went to São Paulo to try to be a model. So I go there, take a bus from Curitiba, go to São Paulo, arrive there, and there's a like a bunch of people all over the place trying to get into this contest. But because I was already kind of selected state wise, they put me in front. I go there, I go inside of the little room, and they're like, "Okay, you're in the final." I was like, "Great." So it was only me and five other guys in the final. And then that kind of started hitting me, right? So that was like, since I did the show with for my cousin, until that time that they got me in the final of Supermodels Brazil, that was like less than a month. That was probably like
Yeah.
a month. So it was like very quick. Like everything, it was like from a month ago that I had no idea what the fuck I'm gonna do in my life, and then now that I'm like literally in the final of the biggest contest, model contest in Brazil, that's gonna be live streamed on MTV with a big like band playing everything. Like my head was kind of like, oh shit, this is happening. So like I'm
Yeah.
doing this. Like no matter like I'm like even if I don't win this contest in my mind I was like even if I don't win this contest I'm like blocking my studies at least for like a year next year. That was 2008. So I was thinking like 2009 I'm going to block my studies. I'm going to move to Sao Paulo and just try to be a model. That was me in my mind. But then I go to the final. We spend 1 week doing a bunch of other things like classes, book, and this and that. Actually, never used it, whatever. I arrive in the final and I win the thing, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I won! Like, and then I was
You
just mad.
won.
Yeah, it's like, man, that's crazy. Can't believe it.
Okay, wait. My question is, was your hair orange at this point still?
A little bit, yeah. It was still like though. I was still. If you check like pictures of me on Supermodels Brazil when I won, there was still like some little like
Highlight.
flashes, yeah, highlights of orange. I'm like, man, I won
Wow.
this shit with my orange hair. Yeah,
So you know the recipe for success is having a little bit of orange.
yeah. Just be reckless, I guess. But anyways,
Just be reckless.
uh, so I won it, and then right after I win, by the way, just disclaimer: I didn't speak any English or any other language at all. I only spoke Portuguese. So there was two bookers there, two agents, one from Italy, from Why Not, Rosa, and another one from Ford Models at the time in Paris. Right now, their name is Premium. It changed. No, long story short, whatever. Um, Frank. So Frank came straight up to me after I win, and he say, "Oh, you know why you won?" No, but I mean, I wasn't understanding shit because like it was speaking English, so I was with a translator. I was like, "Oh, you won because I chose you." It was like, "Oh, great!" And you coming to Paris in like that was like what, November. So yeah, you coming to Paris in a month. I was like, "What do you mean I'm coming to Paris in a month?" Yeah, it was like, "Yeah, I'm paying. I'm advancing everything. You're coming 2000 in January 2nd, 2019. You have to be in Paris ready for Fashion Week." It was like, "Oh shit."
2009.
2009. Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
my head's going crazy. So yeah, 2009, January 2nd, 2009, you come into Paris and you better be ready because you're doing Fashion Week. I was like, okay, let's go. And then I actually start like studying French
Wow.
because like, okay, I'm going to France. I have to speak French, right? But like, no, that's like in the modeling industry, you would always and only speak English. No, it's hard, even like especially in Paris though. You go to Paris, like everybody speaking English with you. So when I go, I prepare myself. I'm like getting like it was middle of summer in Brazil when I was at the beach, and I was like, okay, I'm like trying not to get sun. I was kind of like, oh man, like this is gonna be crazy, right? But at the same time, I was like, you know what? I'm taking this as like I'll go there for a month. If it works out, great. If it doesn't work out, I come back. I go to Sao Paulo and I keep doing this modeling thing. But if it really doesn't work out, at least I can come back, go back to my town and keep studying. So in my mind, I was still not set. I was still not like, okay, like I won a contest, but like whatever, I was still like not really like set for it. So I go to Paris, 2009 January, and then at the time, Dior had Chris Vanache. That was the main like creative director of Dior. And Chris Vanache at the time, he had a thing with Brazilians and Argentinians. He really, really, really wanted only Brazilian and Argentina to do his show. And I was a new Brazilian in town, right? So I was like, well, I guess all the Brazilians are doing at the time. Max Mota, I went with him to Paris. Actually, he was the one that was helping me around because he speak English and I didn't. And Marlon was doing the show, and all the other guys that was in town, Argentinians or Brazilian, were doing the show. So when I go do the casting, he was like, "Oh, you're gonna do the show." So I was like, "Oh, great." But at the time, he would only do exclusive. He only wanted like he would do all the people that would do his show would be exclusive, but for some reason, he didn't want me exclusive. He was like, "No, I'm You just do the show, you're not exclusive. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess it's fine. So I went to my agency and I was like, hey, since Dior is not doing exclusivity with me, uh, can I just go to Milan and try to do Milan Fashion Week? The first thing that they wanted, they didn't really want me to go to Milan. Actually, why not? I was signed with Why Not there, but they kind of they were not really like, yeah, whatever. So I kind of like, yeah, I'll go. I'm not gonna stay in Paris doing nothing, waiting for
Yeah.
like Milan Fashion Week to go through, because the way it works in Fashion Week is that you go to Paris first, you do the castings, and after that you go to Milan, do the castings, do the shows in Milan, and then after Milan you go back to Paris to do the shows. So I was in Paris. I was like, I had this have this whole week of Fashion Week in Milan. I'm not gonna be in Paris just waiting for it, and I'm not exclusive. If I was exclusive, so by contract, I can't really go to do another brand. So since I wasn't exclusive, okay, let's go to Milan. I went to Milan, and then I was able in my first season to do I was able to book Gucci and Gianfranco Ferré, and that actually really like it, because I was able to really like do the whole like fashion week. And doing Gucci as a first season is very very big for a model. So especially Gucci and Dior. So I was able to kind of like from the first season really like, okay, it's happening, it's working. It's
You
like,
skyrocketed.
yeah, like I like that's like what, 4 months 3 months ago I was like in Brazil not sure what to do, and now I'm in like working with the biggest brand in the world. I was like, okay, that's great. And then I stay, and then Chris Vanache actually told me to stay in Paris to do the fitting for the brand. So I actually stayed living in Paris for like another 3 months. I lived in Paris for like 4 to 5 months, just like working for Dior directly. Actually, the first month, well, I jumped the main thing. And the first month, right after the end of Fashion Week, that's when they choose who's going to do the campaign. At the time, right now, it doesn't really work like this anymore. I feel like it, but at the time, whoever did the show was probably going to do the campaign, and then he chose me and a few other guys to do the campaign for Dior. So I was like, oh, that, I mean, like my first month
That's sick.
modeling, I did like I worked one of the biggest brand, and I'm doing like Dior campaign with Karl Lagerfeld. Literally, like I'm like,
Wow.
okay, like that's it. Like I made it.
This is what I'm doing. This
This
is
is
what I'm
what I'm
doing
doing.
now.
Yeah. So that's was my first month modeling, and then I lived in Paris, doing fittings. And then my first year modeling was pretty much like living in Paris doing fittings for Dior. And then I went back to Brazil, and then I went back to Paris to do Fashion Week again. And I actually didn't do Dior that season because for some reason Chris Nash said that that wasn't fitting the clothes. I was like, how I'm not fitting the clothes if I'm the one that fit all the clothes? Like I've been 3 months here working with you. For me not doing the shows because I don't fit the clothes, like that makes no sense. It's like the worst excuse ever. But anyways, whatever. That's stayed in the past. Let's just say that.
That's history. That's
That's
history.
history. Let it be. But anyways, but that actually I wasn't mad about it because it opened up for me to do other brands in Paris. I don't remember exactly. I'll have to go back at this time. My second time doing Fashion Week, I did like in Milan. It was like crazy. I did so many brands. But yeah, that was, and then at this time, I got very close with Gucci, and then Frida at the time they actually booked me to do the fittings for Gucci. So we found the reason why we're having problems is probably because there's a thing called dummy battery, and I have one for my camera, but I think it's heating up too fast and it's shutting down the recording. So now I pretty much plug the charger in it. So let's hope, cross fingers, is gonna work so we can do this thing properly. So yeah, going back to at least it gave me time to go to the
Let's go
bathroom.
back to Japan.
So yeah, going back to what I was saying. So for 2 months was $15,000. That for a lot of people, $15,000 for 2 months, a lot for a lot of it is a lot for like, but like if you think about it, 2 months, 15,000. Depending who you are, what you're working with, sometimes it's not, but it is what it is. I was at the time I was what how old I was like 19.
2009. I don't.
No, it was just no, it was
Oh, I
2010.
can't do the math.
So 2009 I turned 18, and then 2010 I was already I was 19 when I went to Japan, and yeah, I mean 15 grand 2 months, great. Let's go. I went there. I actually ended up meeting Jazz there, my wife. I met her there. We both living in Japan at the time. She was for a month. I was for 2 months, and then now we're together all this time. Wait, my camera is kind of like acting funny. Anyways, now it's better.
Okay.
So yeah, now we're together for all this time.
So how many years has
We
it been?
moved a few. I don't know. Do the count?
2000.
24.
Yeah. Wow.
24. No, it's 14 years.
14
Jesus
years.
Christ,
Wow.
14 years.
Both of us are so
14
bad at
years, right?
math. 14 years together.
Just gonna hate me. Yeah. Well, if we met in 2010, we technically start dating in 2011. So 13 years together.
Love
It's
story.
13
It's a
years,
love
right?
story.
Yeah, 13 years
It-
together. Yeah, exactly. And 10 years marriage. We got married after a few actually with Milo. Just got pregnant with Milo right after, like 2 years and a half after we were together. And well, let's get this thing right actually, so we don't we don't mess it up. So yeah, 2012. So yeah, if we met 2011 and it's 2012, so yeah, 2 years. We're 2 years together when Milo just got pregnant with Milo, and then I asked her on top of the Sacre Care, not on top of the Sacre Care, in Paris on the Sacre Care. It was a beautiful scene. Too bad I was too shy to document it, and at the time we didn't really had like smartphones and things like this. I had one. Yeah, I did had.
You didn't
But
you
yeah, I
didn't
was a
have a
little.
Mitch yet.
No, I didn't have a Mitch to take pictures of me. So yeah, and then the rest is history. I think, and for this, what it really matters is just to say how I started. How was my beginning, what I really think about my beginning, and where I am right now. Where I am right now, I guess you guys can go to models.com and check everything that I did and everything that I've been doing. Yeah, right now we have two kids, two beautiful boys, Milo, 10 years old, Laszlo, 7 years old. At this moment, we're traveling around the country with our camper van, something that Mitchell got a glimpse.
Yeah.
Mitchell spent like a week, was like around a week with us in the road, filming everything, all the social media, all the posts, and all the good stuff that you guys like it. He did it, and then we kept rolling it. Now we're in Florida. Well, right now I'm in San Francisco, but I'm meeting them in Florida after tomorrow. Not well after tomorrow. Who cares? You guys are probably not gonna know the day when this
Yeah.
is uploaded on YouTube. But yeah, after here, I'm meeting them in Florida, and then we're gonna keep rolling all the way to Phoenix, and then on the 10th of February, most likely we're going back to Brazil, and then that there I will continue doing the podcast, and it's gonna be a much nicer. We're probably gonna have a little sign and everything. So yeah, this is my story. And should I say anything else, Mitchell? What do you think?
I'm trying to think of other questions that I mean, we need
I
to.
mean, not
Yeah.
questions. I don't know. Like,
Other.
let's have a
Okay. Okay.
let's have a conversation here, kind of like
let's
podcast
let's think
style.
plans for the future. I want to know what you have planned for the year 2024, and going on from there. Like where are we taking this from modeling to um, the future?
I mean, I guess 2024 looked promising, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we started the year very well. I mean, I'm like month of January. I'm in here in the US. I've been working well. Modeling is it's good as always. Um, a lot of people think that I retired, that I don't model anymore, just because you don't see me on Fashion Week. But like modeling is not only Fashion Week. Let's just say that usually, Fashion Week, you do it only when you're like a new face. New face meaning like it's gonna be on like the first 3 years of your career, I would say. If you're a fashion model, there's a lot of models that actually never really did Fashion Week, and they actually focus more on the publicity stuff. But yeah, if you really want to do Fashion Week, it will probably last you like 3 years. After that, they kind of get they get tired of you. uh and nowadays I feel like Fashion Week, it's not really for the guys that want to build a career, because they're very much disposable. They're
Mhm.
like disposing models. They're like they every year they want a new face. Every year they want somebody that they never seen before. The creative directors and designers, they're not really focusing on the models and on the talents. They're more focusing on on the celebrities. They're like front row. Like modeling changed a lot from the time that I was doing Fashion Week. So that's one of the reasons why you don't see me there anymore. And also because you don't really make much money. It's more really about publicity. And another thing is I've always been kind of too tall for it. Not like I always been good like when I was younger, because I was a little leaner. But now, of course, I I was started at 17. I'm 32 now, so my body changed a lot. I'm still lean, but I'm stronger.
Yeah.
Like I have more muscles. I'm thicker. Let's just say that. So it's for a Fashion Week designer to fit me with sample sizes. It's a little harder. Next question, Mr. Mitchell.
Okay, have you
Let's
done
go.
any side jobs other than modeling? Have you done anything like other than modeling in the last 10, 15 years?
Not really. I mean, I had some of my little adventures, like business wise, like till tomorrow with jazz. Um, uh, .br. Um, and that's it. I mean, like modeling. That's the thing. Modeling keep me so busy. I have the biggest project of my life is to become an actor. It's something that I've been studying for years, but because modeling keep me so busy, I can never like really like go for it. Like maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just not doing it because I don't want to. But like it's all a balance, right? Like if you have jobs, like why would you say no for jobs if you to try something new? Like maybe I don't want to take the risk, but one day or another I'll have to take the risk. Maybe I'll do the jump. See how it goes.
All right. Next questions is food related. Favorite food and favorite breakfast food.
Um, I mean, right now, I would say my favorite food would be like a nice piece of steak. But
Mhm.
yeah, I would say a nice piece of steak. A ribeye is great. T-bone.
T-bone.
Or a picanha. So good. Sorry, vegans. It is what it is.
And then
I
for
was a
breakfast.
pescatarian. I was a pescatarian for 2 years though. I loved it. I should. And then when I'm feeling healthy, I would do like a Greek yogurt with some like red like berries and honey, and granola. That's great. Or some banana. You put some banana or a smoothie. The thing is, I don't really eat breakfast. I have a thing that uh, I wake up, I'm not hungry, so I don't eat it, and I don't force myself from eating it because I don't need it. I can go very well from like waking up all the way to 12 p.m. not eating. I just have lunch and I'm fine.
Nice. Okay. Um, skincare. What do you do for skincare? Is there a go-to
Um,
product?
no, there's no go-to product. I mean, I wish there was. I wish there was a much. I wish I could give you a very clear answer what my skincare is. But one thing that's for sure, you always have to make sure because everybody has different skins, right? I always make sure that my skin is either not too dry or not too oily. And if it's too dry, I moisturize it and make sure that I always put serum. Make sure that my skin is nice and tight. And if it's too oily, I'm always make sure I'm always washing it. I have like a like face soap, like that. Take off the oil of your skin. But I don't have a really go-to product. I think I guess every time that I would use the same product for a long time, my skin would start reacting differently. So I always try to make like play tricks on my skin. You know what I'm saying? Like use different things. So
Curveballing.
like my skin is never too used to the same thing.
Yeah.
And it seems to work. But to be honest, for me, the very little I do, the best. But of course, like now I started using a lot more like serum and things like that because just to make sure my skin looks nice and fresh. The more you age, the more your skin becomes soggy and stuff. So yeah.
Sunscreen. Sunscreen.
No, that's for sure. Yeah, sunscreen is a must. Is definitely something you should take care of it. You don't want those bad things happening with you because of sun. And the sun definitely destroys your face.
It
It makes
does.
you look older. So sunscreen protects that.
Okay. Is there a particular name for your haircut? This is one of the big questions.
No, I don't know. Is there?
I
Is
have
there
no
a name
idea.
for my haircut?
I have no idea.
Uh,
What do
Yeah, I don't
what do you
know. I
tell
don't.
them?
I don't think there's a
Side?
name. I mean, yeah, like I actually said on a live how I do my haircut. I pretty much keep it long on top. I keep it lanky, like it's very lanky. Things my hair is very heavy. Is very There's a lot of volume. So even if with a lot of length, it doesn't really fall. Like I can right now is a lot of product because I was working, so I can kind of shape it. But that's how I like it. I like my hair kind of dirty that I can shape it, and then I try not to wash with shampoo regularly. I always make sure my hair is clean with water, and make sure that it's not oily. But when I feel like okay, it's time to wash, I go in and wash it. But like the way I cut, I fade from the bottom to the top until here. It's like faded. It's not like a military cut. A military cut, it's like you literally you take a straight line and you just shave it. It's not like you have to you have to go to a good hairstylist.
Yeah.
I guess like barbershops are great, if you want that like a more of a like straight cut. But if you want something that's more like worked with the scissors, that they fade it nicely, you have to find a good hairstylist that it does a nice fade, like here on the sides and in the back. So you still have hair, but you see it. It's like it's nice and shaped. It depends also like on the way your hair is. My hair is thick, and my hair is very thick and a lot of volume. So I'm always have to keep like taking the volume out. Um, if I want to be able to shape it. But like I always make sure that it's kind of like, a nice even fade back and sides. And then on top, I keep it long so I can kind of play around it. I went through phases that I shaved my head and phases that I cut very short, to do like more of a military cut. So I went through phases, but truly the way I always worked well and the way my hair is the best is like that, and that's how I want to keep it.
Nice. Okay, so last question is, do you have a favorite designer and why?
I mean, do I have a favorite designer? I don't. I mean, it all depends. I guess you. My style. I like to say it like this. My style is very simple, basic, very like nice. Like the what's the name? The silent chic was the
Stealth wealth.
stealth wealth. It's like I don't like much like too much color, too much branding, too much. I prefer to keep it nice and like or either white or black or a neutral color, something that's for my lifestyle. And if I go with like fashion designer, which one that I would say that like okay, like those are nice clothes and I think I could wear. I love Ami. Ami has like very nice clothing that like it's something that, and then I mean like there's so many though, but I would say Ami is one of my favorites that like they are showing on like fashion, they are walking.
Yeah.
um I mean there's a lot, but like that's the thing that I go from like what's my style. It's something that it's nice, simple, but yeah, like it's still stylish.
Yeah, elevated.
Yeah,
Elevated.
elevated.
Well, people at Ami, shout out. Hit us up. We'll be happy to go to your show. Okay, so that's all the questions I have because we answered most of the questions in the get to know you part of the episode. So
Yeah.
we can wrap it up. You have any last words?
Yeah, well, that's it, guys. I mean, this is the pilot. That's not the first episode. That's what we try. That's what we're doing, just to put out something out, just for us to do this, right?
Hmm.
So we can like get to know this platform that it's already like it's not a new platform. A lot of people out there is doing podcasts. I feel like that's the best way that I can communicate with all you guys. That I can like 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 show you some knowledge from like my side of the business. A lot of people, it's hard to get like models to talk. Models, like I said in the beginning, models don't really talk about modeling. We're not really like when we get together, we're not talking about the business. We don't really, we just work. And I think the best way for me to like bring like shine a light on our side of this of the fence, with like models, casting directors, photographers, like to shine a light on these people so you guys get to know like the real world, the real fashion world, the real model, like the real like what it looks like, out here. Because right now, what do you see? Right now, you see a lot of people on social media, working, showing like front row fashion weeks and stuff like this, like what is shown fashion week, but you don't really see, like you don't really get the real perspective from like the people that work in the industry, and their stories and how they got there and like what they feel about it, so that's what I want to bring. And I also want to bring a little bit of like lifestyle, like sports. That's what I love, like tennis, cycling, surf. I want to bring a little of everything, like building muscles. That's something that like a lot of models try to do, but sometimes can be good, sometimes can be bad. In my case, it doesn't help me because I'm already tall. I'm 6'3". That's like 193 in meters. So I can't really build muscle. Otherwise, I that's it. My career is doomed. I can't really like fit in things anymore. Um, and most of the brands, like they have like a medium size sample size. So like, if I would still want to work as a model, I have to fit in this. So for me, I go to the gym more to stay in a good shape and stay healthy, other than to build. Other guys, they like to build. It works for them. I have a few friends that they're a little shorter. Their body is a little different, so they're able to build more muscle and look more muscular. But I can't. So it all depends of the person. So we're gonna bring all different types of people, all different types of guys, all different types of girls, or trans or whatever that it's out there, that so they can spread the word, show, tell us what's they experience in life and in modeling and fashion.
Tell us their story.
Tell us the story. That's what podcast is about, right?
Hmm.
Conversation, tell your story. That's what we're doing. And that's it. Welcome to Yo Chico podcast. That was your first pilot episode. we're still figuring out a few little things, a few little like camera things and here and there. And that is like some. It's I guess it's part of the project. It's part of the project when you start something new. And I'm glad we did this. And I want to thank you, Mitchell,
Thank you,
for
Chico, for
being
your
there
time.
always for me.
Yeah,
You
my
want to say
pleasure.
something?
No, my pleasure. Thank you for like making me part of this process, this project. I'm very happy and very honored that you asked me to do this. Happy
Yes.
to be doing this partnership with you and looking
Yes.
forward to all the other episodes we have to film.
Yes. So yeah, so Mitchell like is always gonna be there in every episode, but it's not gonna be like that.
No,
He's gonna
I'm
be
gonna be
like
like a
in
little
the
square.
corner, kind of like just checking. So that's the episode that he gets to shine. But he is the sun around this universe. He is the one that's giving life to this. So we all thank Mitchell for actually giving life to Yo Chico podcast
Yo Chico
and making this
podcast.
happen.
Yep.
Let's go, everybody.
Let's
Let's
go.
go. I'm
Let's
excited. So yeah, don't forget, first episode's coming up with Sean O'Brien, most likely in a few days from this that you're watching. But like always, follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram. I will be communicating with you guys when this recording is gonna happen. It's gonna be very soon. I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are excited about it. And like I said, like I've been saying, subscribe to my TikTok channel so you guys can send me and Sean questions that we're gonna answer just like we did right now.
alrighty.
We good?
Yeah, we're good.
Peace.
Peace.
Yo.
Yo
See you
Chico.
guys.
Bye.
You.